Are you in the process of getting your real estate license here in Illinois and you are feeling overwhelmed? You're not sure where to begin. What should you study? All of that. Well, you are in the right video because here I am going to share with you three things that you need to take care of. And these three things will help you as you prepare for the exam and get you to the point where you are licensed. So, if that's you, grab something to write with, grab a notebook, and let's jump in. If we haven't already met, my name is Nonye Ononubu. I am a licensed broker here in Illinois as well as a licensed instructor. On this channel, I bring you the best tips and tools to getting your real estate license. I also answer any questions you may have about the process. If you're new to this channel, welcome and do consider subscribing. So let's jump into the three things and be sure to stay till the end because the third one, in my opinion, is actually the most important one. And if you have that one down, it's actually going to help you with the other two. So the first thing is, what do you actually study? If you've gone through a course already, they've given you all the topics that you need to know for the exam. So you could use that as your guide. Okay, these are the chapters in our textbook. So these are the topics that I need to cover. However, in your textbook, you're not going to have the same number of questions from all of those topics. So you may want to instead use the candidate handbook that PSI provides. And in that candidate handbook, it shows you all the topics that you need to cover. And I have a link to the guide in the description below. Once you get to the page that has all the topics you need to cover, you could use that as your guide to help you with your studying. And that's going to give you what to study for the exam. You may not have a textbook, but your online course, for example, has material online with all of the topics. So as you find the topics that you need to study from the candidate handbook, you then go back to your online course and get the material from there and make good notes from the textbook or from your online course. And then you're able to use those notes to study all the time. Because when you want to study, you may not always feel like getting on your computer. You may not always feel like getting into your textbook, but your notes will be quick reminders because you're putting the main points on there. And so that will be a good tool to use. One thing you could actually do is take the subjects that you need to cover from the candidate handbook and just make an outline of it. And as you're studying each portion, you're making notes under that. And that's really going to help you so that you know that you're covering all the main points on the exam. And of course, when you look at the candidate handbook, it's going to show you how many questions are going to come from each section. So it's going to help you determine maybe how much time do you need to spend in a particular area versus another area. And that is my first tip for you. Now you know what you need to study and where to get the material to study, right? The next thing is, how do you even begin to study? So this is where you create a plan for yourself. First of all, you need to determine, okay, how much time do I have to prepare? Let's just say you have 6 weeks to study, right? So you grab a calendar, like a paper calendar, or you grab your phone, whichever one works for you, but grab a calendar and you begin to put in your calendar what you're going to study each day. And you're going to plan your studying for Monday through Friday of each week. Don't worry about the weekends. You use the weekend to catch up on the stuff from the week. So from Monday through Friday of each week, you're going to write in there the modules you're going to cover, the topics you're going to study on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for all of those 6 weeks. Maybe 5 weeks, and then use week 6 as your review week. However, it works for you. Just make a plan. That's the most important thing. Have a plan. One of the reasons why actually writing the dates and what you're going to study is, for example, you've had a long day and you're like, oh crap, I gotta study. And you're like, okay, what should I even study today? Having a plan in place takes away all of that for you. You already know what you have to study that day. All you have to do is look at the plan. Okay, today we're studying chapter 15 and chapter 16. Grab your material and begin to study chapter 15 and 16. And it's not good enough just to have the plan, but make sure that it's a plan you can follow. So don't overwhelm yourself with, I'm going to study 5 chapters in one day. Except it's your full-time job, that's not realistic. So be realistic with your goals and know that, okay, life is going to happen. And that's why I said leave the weekends open so that if you need to catch up on the weekends, you can. Before we get into number 3, if you've been finding this helpful, please do not forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel so that you are notified when I release new videos. And now number 3, the most important thing is your mindset. Okay? In my opinion, this exam is more 80% mindset and 20% knowledge. Like you may know everything, but then you get to the exam and you fumble. You may know everything and then you do practice quizzes and you just get the answers wrong. But then when you're going over it, you're like, but I know this. Like, how did I get this wrong? Why did I pick the wrong answer? Okay? So your mindset is really important. And why I said it's actually going to help you with the first two is you may not want to study. You may not want to sit there for an hour and a half and study, but you have to figure out a way to tell yourself to essentially motivate yourself, not looking for other people to motivate you, but this is an internal goal for yourself. And you have to find it within yourself to actually take and pass this exam. A couple of things you can do is, for example, and this is stuff that I actually will do, okay, and I've done. So let's say you're sitting down, you're studying, and just like feeling very uncomfortable. You want to grab your phone, you want to just binge watch something and not worry about the exam or studying for the exam. That's okay. Acknowledge that. It's like, oh, I'm tired. Say it. Just, oh, I'm exhausted. Oh, this is overwhelming. Get up, walk around for like a second or two, like a few seconds, just walk around and then come back, sit down, and then continue. Grab a glass of water or something in between, and then come back and sit down. Or you may even like just stand up, hold your book or your material or whatever, and then just start pacing around as you're studying. Maybe now you're even like saying the words out loud because again, you're fighting the internal whatever inside of you that just doesn't want to study this material because it's not very exciting. And we know that, but it's something that we have to do. Okay? So, those are some examples of things that you can do to help you with the mindset. All right, so let's even talk about mindset when going to take the exam. I have a video, and maybe that's the video I'll link here at the end, where I talk about things to do the night before your exam, because that preparation alone can be the difference between you failing or passing that exam. So, making sure that you're clearing your brain off of stressors. When you go to take the exam, you're not hungry. And then sitting there and thinking, oh crap, I'm hungry. And now that's a distraction. Or you're thinking about something you forgot to do. Just write it down and get that thing off of your mind so that you can focus on the exam. All right. When you're going to take the exam, make sure you arrive on time. Actually, arrive early. I don't know about you, but think about how your body is feeling when you're running late to something. And you know that you gotta get there before a certain time, otherwise, you won't be able to take the exam. Your body gets all anxious. And what does that do? That throws you off. And then you get to the place and you're like, oh, hold on, I need to like calm myself down and blah, blah, blah. And just like breathe. And then you're rushing and you're like, oh my gosh, people are looking at me. Why am I late? Blah, blah, blah. That's already throwing off your system. So get there early, have a seat, and just, review the material that you have and just get your mindset in test mode and calm your body down. Remember to breathe. And even if it's having like positive affirmations that you say to yourself just to keep you on track, do that. One thing that I've noticed, and I've heard people say this, and I actually experienced it, is sometimes you go to take the exam, and when you get into the exam, the person there that checks you in is already like, oh, hey, don't be nervous, you could take it again, that's okay. Like they're already telling you that you're going to fail and you have to come back to take it again. Don't listen to that at all. Like, As you walk in with confidence that you're going to pass. And if you hear that happen, right, block that off. That's not for you. I've experienced that before. There was a time I went to take an exam and I was early. So I get there, I sit down, I'm just like going over my notes that I had on a piece of paper and reviewing stuff. Then a couple people come in and they start chatting among themselves, and I'm just in my zone because I'm like, I need to pass this thing. And so they're chatting and talking about how nervous they are or how they don't feel like their school prepared them well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there going like, I'm gonna pass this exam. Like, I'm not listening to you guys. Then the lady that checked us in was like, oh, don't worry about it. You can always take it again, blah, blah, blah. And literally you could feel the energy leave the room. Like literally the energy just left the room. And I'm there sitting like, oh no, she did not. And so they stopped talking because of course the energy had just left and it was just like bad energy in the room. And I'm just like still studying. I'm like, I'm gonna pass this thing, I don't care. Okay. Then what I did was I talked to the person next to me and I was like, you know what, you could pass this the first time. I've passed this the first time before. I was taking a different exam. I wasn't taking the broker exam like you guys. I think I was taking my instructor exam at that point. So I just looked over at her and I'm like, you'll be okay. Like, just going there thinking like you're going to pass. And I didn't say a lot because I didn't know who she was, but I just said a few words to her. I'm like, don't worry about what she said. And then we went and take the we went in to take the exam, and my exam was different from theirs, so I finished early and I left. So I don't know how they did, but just that experience alone, that's not the only person who's told me that that happened to them. A lot of people go in there, and even the lady was like, oh, I tell people all the time, don't worry about it the first time. It's okay, you just fail and you come back again, at least you know what to expect, and you take it a second time. I was just like, no way, like I refuse to accept that for myself. So why am I saying all this? You may be in that situation, maybe you don't meet a lady who's going to tell you that, but your brain is just like, oh, even if I don't pass, I can come back. No, reject that. Okay. Do the best you can. Prepare as much as you can. I'm not saying don't prepare, but prepare as much as you can and then have a very, very positive mindset. Another thing you can do while you're in taking the exam is don't doubt yourself. You know what you've studied, you know the testing techniques. Some of them I've discussed already on this channel. Go through them, know those techniques as you're doing practice quizzes. You're always looking for the best answer. So you've picked the answer, you've gone to the next question. Your brain is like, oh no, let's go back. That's where you tell your brain, no, we're done. And now we're on to this question. So you have to begin to practice that even now as you do practice quizzes. For me, sometimes when I test, I don't even remember the questions they ask because, like, when I'm done with one question, it's almost like I hit the reset button and go on to the next question. So you have to forget the old stuff. If there's a question you come across and you're not sure, bookmark the question. Once you bookmark the question, then you can erase it from your mind, knowing that when you finish the exam, you cannot submit until you clear your bookmarks. So you have time to go back to them. All right. So just bookmark it, delete it from your memory, go on to the next question. Summary of all of this, go get the candidate handbook that's going to tell you what to study. Once you know what to study, plug that into a planner and use that planner as your study guide. Essentially, that's your study planner for the entire process. Keep the weekends open for catching up or just doing practice quizzes or reviewing material, right? And then work on your mindset. Whatever you need to do, like I said, positive affirmations, writing stuff down for yourself and seeing that and like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get licensed. Whatever it takes just to get your mindset in order so that you can go take and pass this exam. With that, we've come to the end of today's video. I hope it was beneficial to you and it's kind of giving you a framework of how to begin to prepare for your exam. If you need to come back to this video, watch it as many times as you want. If you need that additional motivation to get you through this, all right, I got you. And of course, I have other videos on this channel that can help you simplify some of the material that you're covering. So be sure to check them out. And I'm going to link a video right here at the end. Jump on there and I will see you there.